I'm wearing my glasses today, so there's going to be a glare. You guys want to go through my stuff? I realized I know I did show some weird, haunted, creepy, kind of morbid, kind of witchy, kind of interesting things before in my apothecary tour video, and here and there in other videos. But like, I was looking at my stuff and I was kind of like, you know, I have a lot of trinkets. I've kept them throughout decades, so I do have a lot, but they all mean something to me. I like looking through people's bedrooms. I know that sounds so wrong, but like, I'm going to be honest. I love looking at and through people's bedrooms because it gives you a glimpse of that person and their personality. But I do have some objects that, you know, could maybe potentially be, you know, haunted or at least have like spirits with them. I am also a paranormal investigator besides being a practicing witch. And I don't know, maybe I've collected some cool things throughout the years and they don't really have their own video. Because to me, like, even though they're interesting, I find other people's stuff far more interesting than my own. So we're going to go on a little tour of things. I'm going to start with some stuff that if you've been here for a while, chances are you've probably already seen or had me like or heard me explain what they are throughout you watching my channel, which I super appreciate, man. There's so many of you guys that are like, oh geez, man, it's so cool. But then after that, I'm going to go into some things that I know I definitely have not shared before on this channel. Like, one is a very distinct book, not the Voynich manuscript, because I'll probably show that again in the beginning for any of those who've seen it. It's a little bit older than the Voynich manuscript. It's from 1538, I believe, and things from like haunted locations. Sorry, coyotes are going nuts outside. I don't know if my microphone picked that up. And other random odds and ends. I don't know when this is going to come out. I don't know if this is going to come out in August. I don't know if this is going to come out in September. It's the beginning of August when I film this, but I'm already decorated for fall. And also, as a heads up, for the first part, I am going to show all the animal remains in the beginning too. So if that's not your bag, I'm going to leave like a little part 2 where you can skip in the video. I probably won't put chapters in this video, only because then you can just read the description and just know everything I have. It's not part of the fun just to like see and explore. But we're going to start off with some of the stuff that most of you guys probably have seen, but if you're newer here, you probably haven't seen yet. I'm talking way too much. All right, let's go through my stuff. Let's be like nosy. Let's be nosy. I love it. Okay, hopefully you guys like this type of video. Okay, let's go. We're gonna get to some stuff over here in a second, but let's start first with my bedroom. I feel like we don't really spend a lot of time in here. I apologize for the lighting, so I'm not going to carry around a tripod, but the first thing that we're going to start with is my jar full of crow's feet. I just think this is cool. Like, I freaking love this, obviously. Like, it's not as full as the other times you see it because I do use these in protection charms, guardian charms. I've had left a charm of one of these in one of the cemeteries that I go to, so if you're ever in Rhode Island, who knows, maybe you might come across it and you'll be like, oh, that's from Crystal the Cottage Witch. Actually, I was going to take one out, but I know at least 3 of my friends that watch my channel, and I know the crow's feet definitely skeeve them out. But yeah, jar full of crow's feet. While I'm doing animal stuff here, I'll just get like kind of like all the bones out of the way. That's a baby food jar full of coyote toe bones. I can never, ever say that word. That cat skull is a resin. Cat skulls are the only skulls I can't bring into my house because my current cat does freak out over them. That bigger bone down there, that's a coyote leg bone. That small one right there, that is a gray fox leg bone. You can see the size difference right here. This is a thing full of bobcat bones. That's a squirrel jar. Is that a raccoon? No, that's a coyote jawbone. That's a little jar full of piglet bones. Sorry, I can't reach this shelf because I'm only 4'11". So I have you on a little tripod that I'm holding up. There's a little thing of rabbit fur right there. Luna moth, my favorite. Little baby. Well, this is a jar full of little paper scrolls for spell work and some incense blends. A bat in resin because bats and Luna moths are my favorite. Got another coyote skull here. In it is the hand of fortune. I don't know. You probably can't even see it. I haven't taken it out of this just because I just like it better in the packaging. But it has like a little eye on the hands. And then used horseshoe, coyote jawbone, deer jawbone for communication. My mirror covered in tarot cards. This glare is terrible. I'm so sorry, guys. Chicken foot. Another Luna moth. Another bat in resin. It's clear. I just have a paper behind it, because otherwise it gets, like, lost in my books. Can you see it? I can barely see it. My funeral tag. Deer vertebrae turned into a sun catcher. Spinal column and leg bones. It's a deer spinal column. And then coyote leg bones with coyote teeth as a wind chime. A fox skull that is in a beautiful cake dish that I probably ruined by doing this with like some moss, some mushrooms, some crystals, a robin's egg shell that I found. This is all just bone stuff right now. I'm just trying to get that out of the way so it doesn't make anyone feel uncomfortable. Otter skin. I don't know if there's any other bones or whatnot over here. Oh, hold on. I got one more weird thing in the bone collection. Oh, wait. I forgot about these. This one right here is a wolf's paw bone. I made this one. You could tell I made this one. Oh, that lighting is terrible. This is a key ring. And I, like, wire wrapped the smoky quartz crystal to it. Because, you know. A chicken bone charm. The eyes are in different stages of blinking going down it. I think that's a raccoon hip bone. I found, well, actually, Amber found that and then gave that to me. Again, I can't reach that shelf. It's above my head. And then over here, and just a whole freaking leg of a deer. And this one isn't real, but, well, this one's real. And the other one next to my voodoo doll is real. But this one isn't real, but it is the 3D printed skull of a cat. And I think it's the cutest thing ever. Look at this. I feel like these are all like the worst angles and lighting right now. I'm so sorry. And over here is the other deer skull next to a voodoo doll. That's like a Taurus voodoo doll. It's from New Orleans. My friends got me that. I have more things I'm going to show you that are in this corner. But like this area is a mess and I'm kind of ashamed. It's covered in all my flow hoops. But this is a jar full of tongues. They're dehydrated tongues. Just because it's so much easier working with a dehydrated tongue. But we're gonna come back over here in a little bit. We're actually going to revisit Sass for a moment and actually get a good look at him, and I could kind of explain his story a little bit more. The managers, both of them, had no idea that I was a practicing witch. Turns out they were both practicing witches as well. But one of my managers, she ended up having to move away, and when she was moving away, she had like a box full of like books and like witchcraft supplies. She's like, I can't bring these with me. I'm downsizing. I want to give these to you. Like crystals. One of the little cauldrons I have is from her. And the triple goddess statue that's in my bedroom, that's also from her. So I'm going through everything in the box that she gave me, and then I see this guy. At first I was super confused because I could tell that he was like handmade. I didn't know if he was supposed to be like a Lishi or a type of green man, and I was like, all right, he's something. He seems super familiar to me. So the next day at work, on her last day, she was like, hey, call me when you have a second and I'm going to explain the statue. So I was like, ooh, mystery. So this is Sass. I know I've introduced him in a few of my videos. My manager, one of her friends when they were in the 80s, she was a channeler. And she would channel spirits of mostly like extraterrestrials, like Palladians, so on and so forth. And one day she had the spirit of a Bigfoot come through. And this is what she channeled. So when she channeled, she would sculpt what she channeled. So she made them all by hand. And on the back, he's super duper heavy. Kitty likes to cuddle up with him, so I feel bad. I gotta delint him. But she put like velvet and whatnot on the back of him. He does not like being filmed whatsoever. Then she had kids. His hair used to be like really, really black. I know you can't tell in this lighting, but he had gone gray after her kids. So she felt her house was too loud. And she had no idea what my house looked like. You guys see my other videos. You guys know my house is very, very nature themed vibe. It's like stepping into a woods. And when she was packing up everything, she kept looking over at Sass and she said that she just had the vibe and the feeling that Sass wanted to go with me. And she's like, you know what? If I give this to anybody else, no one else is going to understand. No one else is going to take care of it. Everyone else is going to think I'm weird. And I can't stop feeling like I should be giving him to her. So she put him in the box. But what is funny though, because he is very dimensional, I feel like kind of bad because I'm spending so much time on this. He is very dimensional, so, you know, he can make shadows. He's got very intense eyes. Again, he does not like to be filmed. Just like the elusive Bigfoot in real life, right? But his face changes. If he's not in a certain position on the love seat, he looks very, very grumpy. And whenever I'm cleaning the love seat and I go and I put him on my couch over there, if I put him on that corner, he gets very upset. But if I put him over here, you know, it looks like he smiles. And as long as I have something nature-based playing on the TV, he's good. And again, I don't know how well you can see it. I wish I kind of brought the lights for this. His gray is starting to go away. He has less wrinkles. I wish I still had the original picture because his forehead had so many wrinkle lines on it. You could kind of see here, but there were so more. And what's funny is a lot of my friends don't have like all the same types of beliefs as me, but they've noticed the differences in his face too. So it could be a placebo effect with how he's, you know, sculpted to make shadows and make things move. That is possible. But what's also interesting is whenever I'm just kind of like stressed or I'm like worried, or if the very rare occasion someone is being kind of cranky in my home, or I'm talking about someone being cranky in my home, I will hear ginormous footsteps and I will smell, no offense, Sass, like, you know what skunk cabbage smells like and wet dog? I will smell that and I'll hear grunts in the house. And some of my friends have been here to witness it too, and we just kind of look over at Sass and then it looks like he just smirks at us. So that's like the full story of Sass. So I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. The supposedly channeled spirit of a Bigfoot that sometimes gets activity. He looks so tired and aggravated now since, you know, I just spent so much time filming him. Okay, Sass, I'm done, I promise. Everyone say bye, Sass. But let me know what you think of him. While I'm over here, I'm going to show you another thing. So I have a medical condition where I can't go above certain elevations. So I can't travel like by flying, or if I was to travel, I would have to check the elevation of everywhere that I go and go completely around everything just to make sure that I'm not in a crazy high elevation. And, oh, you know what? I moved it. It's not over here. I lied. I have to move stuff. My friend Mario and his wife Alicia had gone to New Orleans. Now, New Orleans is always a place that I've always wanted to go. And all my friends, I tell them, whenever you guys, you know, whenever they go somewhere that I've always wanted to go, if they can, like if it's not going to hurt the land, if it's not against any rules or anything else like that, even if it's outside their hotel room, if they find a rock, if they can bring it to me. So I have a huge collection. This is just one part of the collection. I'm going on an angle because Kitty's litter box is right here. This whole entire thing is filled with rocks from different places. Well, this one is from Maine. This black one is from Portugal. This one's from New Hampshire. This one is from Arizona. I believe this one's from the White Mountains. I got to take them all out and look at them. But all the places that I can't go, my friends bring me rocks. So it feels like I've been to those places. And apparently they couldn't find a rock anywhere, any kind of pebble. But what they did find was a piece of the road. So this is a piece of Bourbon Street in New Orleans. So he was like, hey, bad news. So I wasn't able to get you a rock. He was like, there was literally no rocks anywhere. It was so clean, no pebbles or anything. And I was like, oh, no, it's okay. I appreciate you looking for me. That was still really sweet of you. Thank you. He's like, oh, no, I still got you something. So I thought he meant like, you know, like he bought me something in one of the shops. And he's like, so you know Bourbon Street, right? And I was like, oh, yeah. And he's like, that's where we were. And they were repaving the road. And he took this giant chunk of the road to give to me as a gift, since I can't, you know, it will take me a very, very, very long time to go around all the higher elevations to get there, since, you know, New Orleans is a low elevation. But it would take me so long to drive all the way around, avoiding elevations that are under 800 feet or so. So yeah, I have a piece of Bourbon Street from New Orleans, even though I've never been. And I'm going to show you the weirdest haunted object that I have, since so many people have witnessed it. Hold on, it's in this closet. All right, you're probably like, this is something that's haunted. So this is the haunted snowman. I think he came into our possession at like 2011, I think, maybe. But the story behind him is my mom loved Christmas so freaking much, especially snowmen. I have a snow globe of hers that has snowman in it. I think it's Frosty. And for years and years and years, it never played. And then one year during Christmas, when I was feeling very sad, very recently, it just started playing. And like, I know music boxes, you know, humidity and all that type of stuff, it can, you know, it could just play on its own. But I like to think of it as my mom. They was like, wait, I missed it. I want to catch it on camera so I can watch it again. Can you do it again? And then it started doing it again. But the story behind this is one of my friends loves estate sales. I love estate sales too. So there was a man a few streets over from him who had passed away, and the family was doing an estate sale. And my friend saw the snowman and instantly thought of my mom. And he was all like, you know what? Crystal's mom would love this. So he went to go grab it. At the same time, another guy went to go grab it. My friend basically kind of fought him off and grabbed this snowman. So even though you could probably see like all the fiber optics on him, there is no wire for him. I tried finding different types of wires. It needs a special type of adapter that's kind of hard to find. But I don't want him to get too mad because he has one specific spot that he has to be every year. This guy moves on his own. Like, he does have like a little bottom, you know, with like the little feet and stuff like that. But there is no electronics like that could be hooked up to him. I don't want to, manhandle him too much. But see, he's falling apart. That's just a fiber optic wire. He's got a lot of marks on him. There is one foot missing, so I always thought that was part of the reason why he moved. But there's no batteries for him. But it's not even just like maybe him shifting. Like maybe him shifting because the feet are uneven. So many of my friends, and I feel like I've kind of seen it, but I don't know if I've seen it because they put it in my head, will see his head pivot. His head, like it's sewed on. I'm moving his body. Like it's all sewed on. It doesn't pivot. But they'll see his head. Sorry, I didn't mean to pinch you, buddy. They'll see his head turn and pivot to him. They'll see this arm move. This arm, I know you can't feel it. It's just stuffing inside of it, except for like the little wire. But there's nothing for animatronics to like make it lift up and like wave to them. And then as well as like his whole body shifting. And so many people have seen this happen. Of like my friends, I could think of 4 off the top of my head without knowing that the others have seen it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's, I think that was my angle because I was like, it looked like you just moved again because I'm holding the camera. But I don't know. It could have maybe potentially be the man who lived there, and you know, he just maybe really liked the snowman, or maybe he had a wife and the wife really liked the snowman and they want to come and visit it sometimes, or who knows, maybe they got it secondhand and whoever had it really, really liked it. But yeah, that's a misted haunted snowman. Which is so funny because it's so, I remember my mom telling me stuff about it like before she passed away, and she would be like, if she moved him somewhere else, like he would just be face down or he'd be turned to face this specific corner. So I don't know. That's why I maybe in like one of my Christmas decorating videos, and then in my other videos that I had during Christmas time, because this channel's only been like actively posting for like a year, so you might have seen him in the corner. But yeah, I don't know. That's a misted haunted snowman. Like, I have paranormal equipment because like I said, I am a paranormal investigator, so we could always try some experiments if that's something that you guys are down for, and try and see if anything. But again, nothing like that is ever guaranteed. But yeah, that's Mr. Haunted Snowman. Now, over here, I know I have shown before in one of my other videos, my apothecary video, flipping through the Voynich manuscript, so I'm not going to do that this time. This is a little servitor doll that I made out of air dry clay. One of the things that I really, really like that's over here is this specific spirit board or Ouija board. It's a different one. I have mixed feelings about it. I'll take that out and I'll show it to you in a second. Before I do, again, I'm showing you guys stuff that you guys have probably already seen. This wand came from a haunted medieval castle. This is rowanwood. This is hawthorn. And this is 5,000-year-old bog wood. Like pieces of oak that fell into a bog. And I think it says it on here. I have the little thing. Yeah, this piece of bog oak is at least 5,000 years old. So yeah, Nolan got this for me at the castle. Oh, and then it's got like the little copper and whatnot. But rowan is my Celtic tree. So yeah, I think it's really beautiful and I think it's very sweet. But this piece of wood, 5,000 years old, because everything in like the bogs, they're preserved. Just so cool. Like if you ever seen like the oh, what was his name? The Toulon Man. Oh, he's like perfectly preserved. You know, that's an interesting story. But let's take a look at the spirit board real quick. And this is the last thing that you guys might have seen, because this one I got at one of the Oddities and Curiosities expos, since I no longer have my other Ouija board. Now, the only thing that I'm very about. So this Ouija board was supposedly inspired by Papa Legba. And if you guys are familiar, this is not Papa Legba. You know, everyone confuses Papa Legba and Baron Smetty all the time. I think I talk about it in my crosswords video. But I do like how this spirit board is set up. So one, the planchette is beautiful. It's very, very heavy. And not only that, it can be used as a pendulum for this board, because this one isn't just letters. I'm going to open it up right now real quick so you guys can kind of see the full thing. So this is what the board looks like fully. So I'm sure most of you guys are familiar, like spirit boards and talking boards, and Ouija boards, they're all like a divination tool. They've all been Hollywoodized. I talk about it in my divination video. They normally try to separate by being in a circle. You'll see like angel boards and spirit boards and talking boards all being in a circle versus just like a regular square like the Ouija board, and that's what makes it different, even though it actually doesn't. This one also has, besides the numbers and the letters, which are the same, these have these certain symbols on it. They're referred to as cave runes, and I think this part is insanely cool. I purposely have not become familiar with the meanings of these, just because if I was to, I never get them though, you know what I mean? Maybe, I don't know if this interests you, but I was like, all right, maybe I'll show like a session with this. But if I was to land on one of these and not know the meaning, I feel like that makes it more interesting, because then you have to go and physically look up the meaning. This is the Tabella Mortum, and I think the whole setup is beautiful, even though this is not Papa Legba. This is not Papa Legba. So, anyway, okay, let's move on, right, guys? So now let's go look at some stuff that I know you guys have not seen before. It is hidden in this corner. We're going to look at some other stuff in this corner. Oh, one last thing that you guys have seen. This is an Aztec death whistle. I blow it in my apothecary video. I'll just show it real quick. So this is my Aztec death whistle. Maybe I'll blow it real quick. It's not after 10 yet. Let's blow it real quick and see what happens. So this is a book that I keep hidden. I normally don't like show or advertise that I have this, because this book is very limited print. And then, I don't know, some people just have weird ideas when it comes to certain things. Like I also have one of the books that was inspired by this book that's also out of print that I have to hide because other copies of this book exist, but apparently not with the reprint. It doesn't have all the information that this book has. But let me show you the first book. So I keep it wrapped up because, again, it is a limited print. They're all numbered, and it is the exact copy of a manuscript from 1583, I believe. I'll have to check when I open it. This is a magical book. This is an occult book. I don't know. Some people are freaked out by this book, but I guess I could kind of understand why, depending on how you practice and what you think of your practice. So, this book is called A Book of the Offices of Spirit, the Occult Virtue of Plants, Bone Rains, Magical Charms, and Spirit. I have a freaking Here's another cool thing. Here's a toe tag that I'm using as a bookmark. So like, another fun story. My grandmother would let me play with like all the random stuff in her closet, and I found a whole bunch of these in her closet, and I asked her what they were for, and she was like, oh, you put them on your luggage so everyone could find your luggage. And I was kind of like, oh, okay. And I used to play this game called Secretary Services, where we solved problems. We didn't do secretary services, we were therapists to like help people out, and I would label everything with these, which are toe tags. Obviously I couldn't read at the time, but like I think the reason why we had so many is because my dad's dad, my grandfather, he passed away before I was born, but he was in the army, so they had to sadly, I think he was in the medical unit, so that would explain as to why they had that. But anyway, toe tag as a bookmark. This book is very old. Let me get a better angle because I feel like this is such a terrible angle. All right, I don't know if this is going to be a better angle or not. I was trying. So, pages. Like, I don't even want this to get kitty fur on it, so I'm very hesitant putting it on the ground. But like, this is so soft and silky, and it looks like wood. So, let's see if this has the number. The Book of the Office of Spirits. So this is the book that inspired, 1583 for this book. But this is the book that inspired, I think it was which one came first? The Sudum de Memoria, and then it, after that inspired the AOR's Goetia, but this was the book before those two that inspired this. This was a reprint. This is copy number 225, first edition. And this was republished in 2011. But this book is working with like demons and their sigils and their magical charms. Again, this is the book that inspired those other books. So there's a lot of stuff in here. Very, very interesting to read. But I don't even want it to get like, oh, and the front part has like other occult stuff mixed in as well. But like, I don't want to bend it because I don't want it to get ruined, Ugh. I don't know if you're able to like read some of the pages. Sorry, my neighbor is like yelling at his dog outside. But yeah, this book is just absolutely filled with information. Again, hopefully I put a little snippet of how many copies there are, but this is copy 225. But this is the book that helped inspired. So this is the other book that I have that is no longer in print. This obviously came out before I was born. It was like in the 80s, mid 80s. But apparently some of the pages are falling out of this book. So like I have to be very, very careful with it. And I'm doing it like one-handed. I will eventually do like a book tour if that is something that like, interests you guys. Like a book tour. I do have a lot. But this is, look at the old font for everything. It looks like it was all like on a typewriter. I'm so sorry. I know I can't do it all the way. Use my foot, my sock. I have to hold the tripod. But this has a lot in it as well. And that book that I showed you before is the book that helped inspire this one. And then in the beginning, it talks about all the different seals with the demons, their numbers, their rankings, and whatnot. So, this is like another, this might be a controversial opinion, I guess. But I feel like, especially, I'm talking from like the paranormal side for this versus like the witchcraft side. But this is why I personally like to be well versed in other forms of magic besides what I practice, even if it's not something that I can actively practice. A lot of times in the paranormal community, you'll have people see certain things and just not understand it and just go crazy, and they just scream that everything is a demon in the Abrahamic sense, but then they also are terrified of demons, and it's not something that they work with, and they just have this belief of it, which, like, you know, everyone is entitled to their own beliefs and their own systems, but I think it's kind of important from the paranormal side to at least get yourself acquainted with different magical practices and whatnot, so then on the off chance you do run into somebody that has a form, because they scream everything is witchcraft and everything is occult. Like, that's how like all their hauntings occur, is that like it was or an occultist that lived there, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. And half the time it's just like kids doing like sidewalk scribbles, or like kids with graffiti that had nothing to do with witchcraft. But if you're more into the paranormal, even if witchcraft and the occult is not your bag, I would recommend being well acquainted with different practices and coming from it from an unbiased point of view to understand and learn. That way, if something is happening, you could recognize it and see for what it is. And then on the other side of that, I do think it's good for witches to also work with baneful magic. You know, like, I don't see this stuff as like baneful magic per se, because, you know, different packs have different meanings. But I know some people just think of certain things and they're just like, bad, baneful. Even if like this isn't something that you try to understand and learn, it doesn't even have to be something that you practice. But I think it's best to understand all aspects of the practice that you work with. But that's just my 2 cents. Sorry. Like, I know I'm gonna do a book tour at some point, but since I'm looking at old books, I love this book. It's like a little brochure style book. Oh my gosh. Very, very old. Like I said, I'm going to do a book tour at some point if this is something that, like, you know, interests you guys. When was this published? This was $2.50, 1942. So this book is from 1942, The Magic of Herbs. And then, I love this book. This is because, like I said, I was getting into different types of Wicca when I was younger, because that was the main thing. This is a piece of birch bark that I'm using as a bookmark. Oh, I remember what tree I stole this from. This is actually okay. When was this one published? Because I do have older books than this, but oh, 1980. Okay, all right, still before I was born, but yeah. Something about that old font is nostalgic to me. So, yeah. Very, very cool. What was I on? Jewelry. Alright, I'm going to show just one more old book. This is the book that nobody knows. This one is filled with so many interesting things. I love the way this book smells. Oh my gosh. It's so interesting, though, because it goes from different aspects of life. And this one was published. It's not really witchy, but you could find like a lot of mystical and folklore things in between it. This book is from... When were you published? 1925, 1926. So, I have books older than this in my collection, but we're not doing a book tour right now. Just a random book on hypnosis right there. But let me know if that is something that does interest you guys, if you guys would be interested in a book tour. Oh yeah, there's my spell book. All my paranormal equipment is over here. I do have a video of me going through that, so I'll just kind of like show it as a whole. And like I said, I have some stuff if you guys want to do a video where we kind of set some things up and kind of see what happens. Oh, actually, I have some stuff in here, and something in here is very special to me because I want to show my haunted location stuff last. But oh, is this gonna come right out? It might come right out. So, oh no, it didn't. Okay, I'm not super familiar with these, so maybe one of you guys can help me out. Oh, this angle of me filming makes my arms and hands look so weird. Okay. The other stuff I'm not going to show. So I think I had mentioned in another video before that my mom was very religious. And when she had passed away, she had worn her family's rosary. And this, actually, I'm going to show it down because it opens. And I'm not sure if rosaries are supposed to open because I'm not crazy familiar with them. I had thought maybe some can. But before it was hers, it was my grandma Nana's. And before it was my grandma Nana's, it was her mother? And then, because she came from Hungary, and then all of her family before that came from Romania. So I'm not sure how old this rosary is exact, but on the back, I don't know if you can see it. It was like it's in Italian. For the fountains of Rome. And then this is like the worst filming job ever. Sorry, everybody. But I have to paint my nails too. It opens. And I'm not sure if like something just fell out of it. But right there in that little spot, there was a little piece of wood. And there was something on it. Because when I was little, I remember that. But I don't know what happened to it. Because when my grandma Nana had it, the wood and the stuff was still in there. But then after my mom passed away, because she passed away wearing this, part of me was like, oh, should I have her buried with this? And it made me feel kind of bad that I didn't have her buried with it. But at the same time, I wanted to keep it to pass on, you know, to my family. If I ever have kids or adopt or foster kids or anything else like that, whatever I end up doing. But I wanted to try to keep it in the family. But she wore this her final few hours, and then it was on her for a while after she had passed away. So I wear this sometimes when I feel very, very, very sad. That's why I keep it in that little spot. But the beads are very interesting. I don't think they're real rose. So if any of you guys know anything about rosaries, if it's supposed to be open or if it's just, see how there's like a little hole there, if something just came undone and that's just the inside workings of it, just let me know. This fan is going to be super loud, but I just think this is fun. This is body oil called embalming fluid. I very rarely, because it's rose scented, and you know, sometimes rose just smells terrible, and other times it smells really good, but it has like mica in it, so it has like that shimmer. You can tell I barely used it. It was filled to the top, but yeah. Oh, and my bathroom, if you were ever wondering, is googly eye themed. There was more googly eyes, but yeah, it probably does make for a very uncomfortable bath visit. And all like my perfumes are all like witchcraft based too. Just so you guys, if you guys were ever curious. Now I know the lighting is terrible over here, but here are a collection of masks. They all have their own personalities. But I know masks like kind of freak out some people, but they definitely have a vibe. There's my spirit doll for communication, my scrying mirror with the REM pod built in. There's a Buddha board. Underneath this is like a pendulum board. The doll that I made for the Why Witches Are Powerful video. And once in a while I hug it because it makes me think of all of you guys and everybody else. And I know this it makes me sound like such a creep. I sound like such a creep. All right, I've talked way too much in this. Let's get into the last thing that I'm going to show. And this one is kind of dark and kind of heavy. So I do want to kind of preempt that first. So I keep it in a bone box, which maybe isn't... What? Does get stuck. Sorry, like I said, I was working with this first, but that's what made me start this video. So I think I left it up because of that. Remember how we got fire earlier? And literally, this was what I was just working with. This is from a haunted location. Not the box. The box is just a regular box made out of bone. But I was working with this before starting the video, and this is what made me want to start the video. So this is a cremation tag from Danvers State Asylum. So I'm in New England, so I'm in Rhode Island. Danvers was in Massachusetts. So I'm just like trespassing. I'm not going to say if I've ever been in there or not. But I wish Brendan was here. My friend Brendan, he was in one of the videos with me. he is like an encyclopedia when it comes to asylums. And Danvers, I believe it's Danvers is his favorite. It's either Danvers or Taunton. I'm pretty sure it's Danvers. But the terrible treatment that has happened to people at this place, and so many people are still unknown. And I have been trying so hard to try and find who number 2381 was, because they have a name. They're not just a number, but here they're just a number, and that breaks my heart. So once in a while I'll try and do, you know, like divination with it and try and get a name, you know, but I don't want to project too much into it, you know what I mean? Because this is, sorry, it gets me all emotional. These people were subjected to terrible things. And I think it was in 95 or in 96, after everything had finally shut down, because this opened in the 1800s. But they found thousands of cremated remains that were unclaimed by family just in a room in the hospital. After all these people were subjected to terrible things. Different types of torture, electroshock therapy, lobotomies, terrible mistreatment, moldy food. And I want to really give this person their name back. And they do have some of the records, but only up to a certain amount of years, because they did get lost to time, because a lot of them just didn't even care about the patient. So Peabody State Library has some of the records, but not all, and only for certain years. And half the times for cremations, they weren't even taking down the names. Like, it was a little bit easier with the burials, but for the cremations, they weren't even taking people's names. They were just giving their numbers, and it's just heartbreaking. And I don't know, the vibe that I get from this, it does feel masculine, so I feel like it was a guy. But again, I don't want to project, because there were women there too, and there was even like a baby, and just, but like, I do get a vibe, and I do get a name. And I was able to find some of the names of the people that were buried, because cremation, they've been looking into it for a very long time, trying to find names, and like, they've barely gotten any, because the way that the records were kept, and how many of the records weren't properly filled out for the ones that there were. Other ones weren't even filled out, and other ones have just been lost, destroyed, trash. So I'm hoping that this person won't remain nameless forever, and I'll find a way to get their name. But again, I don't want to project, because this was a real person. This was a tag on their ashes after they lived a terrible life at this place. Why they were shut down, you know? It took way too long to shut down. We had one here in Rhode Island, the Lad School, and that place is its own. Well, there's nothing left of it now. It got knocked down. And Danvers State Asylum is no longer around, but it was a very famous haunted location for all the activities. They knocked it down, and you know what they put there? Apartment buildings. Like, freaking apartment buildings. How crazy is that? So I keep them there in the little bone box. But when I had the fire, I was drawn to that symbol, and I was all like, they were cremated. I don't know, could be reaching, but that's what I found that interesting, because this is what made me want to do this video. Because I was like, if maybe someone gets a vibe from it. But yeah, okay, all right. You know what? We'll end this on something a little bit happy. I'll show you one more interesting thing, and then we're done. So the last thing I'm going to show is this. So my mom's favorite color is blue. She loves blue jays. This isn't a blue jay, but this is a bird whistle that's filled with water. You fill it with water. You just blow. But what makes me love this even more is because, one, I do like working with birds, but two, my papa used to be able to whistle like this just normally, and he would do this kind of whistle all the time. When he'd be working in the garden or whatever, he would just call for the birds and, you know, just throw stuff out there and all the birds come. So I love this thing. Hopefully it sounds okay with the microphone. Oh, and then I have like a witch's gallery wall. I never really show that, so might as well just show that now. Anyway, that was just like a little video of random things that I have in my house. That was kind of interesting. I know that was very chaotic, but it was a very like random video, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. Door's still open for Mr. Haunted Snowman. I gotta put him back. Let me know if you guys found that interesting, and if you guys ever would want a book tour. I'm also thinking about doing a crystal tour, because I have so many crystals that I have collected throughout the years and that have been given to me, because it's also my name, and I used to collect rocks as a kid. So if you guys ever want a crystal tour, let me know, because I got a lot. Anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful day, evening, night, energy, space, whatever time it is that it may be when you are watching this. And I really, truly hope that good things happen to you. Bye!